Sure.
All right, so thank you for joining us, Ernest. So can you give us a little bit about background about yourself and how you kind of got started in entrepreneurship?
Oh, sure, no problem. Thanks again. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you. I'm a Markham kid, basically raised in Markham. My mom moved to Markham in 1971, and so that's that. I'm a Markham kid. Um, from there, went to high school in the south suburbs, went to college, Benedictine University, had a master's degree. And then I went into corporate America and basically worked for a major media company for as a part-timer and worked my way up to a director for over 20 years. And then from there, actually, I was also a high school football coach at the time. I was the head coach at Hillcrest High School, even while I was working in corporate America. And so that was so I've always done multiple things, and basically from there, ran into an issue in education, which is well documented, and that's another meeting within itself, another interview within itself. And so from there, went to another company out of Long Beach, California, where I was the vice president of operations for the Midwestern states. And like even at the media company, like in all companies, in a lot of companies, the higher up you are, the more exposed you are to cuts and things of that nature. And so when those things happen, it kind of we got an MBA, and so when those things happen, it kind of gives you a wake up call, like, whoa, what can you do? And so I always considered the entrepreneurial route, but quite honestly, just never had the courage to do it, and was kind of forced, not forced, but yeah, forced in the direction based on losing some opportunities in corporate America, and doing a really good job for corporations, and then at the end of the day, when they feel like it's time for you, they want to eliminate a position. They don't care what you've done in the past. They can do that, and they will do it, or they have done it. And so then that kind of brought me to it. As I'm sitting around like, man, what's next? What's next? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? I've been delivering newspapers and packages and stuff for my whole career. Why not get in the delivery business? And so I ended up starting a distribution company, and I still have that to this day. And that just led on to the entrepreneur route. And it's been definitely very challenging, but as equally rewarding also.
So what's the name of your distribution company?
Easy Way Delivery Services, LLC.
All right. And then when did you start that?
Started that over about 6 years ago.
Okay.
About 5.5 years ago.
All right. And then
we do medical courier services. We started with newspapers. Like right now, we deliver all of the reader newspapers in the city of Chicago, the Black-owned paper, Chicago Crusader, in Chicago, to the south suburbs, and in Gary, Southwest Messenger Press. So we've got probably about 10 titles under our belts that we deliver weekly. And so that's a little bit about the distribution and delivery company.
So from distribution and delivery to the 9 Sports Bar and Grill, how did that transition kind of happen?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because there's no fits there, right? I mean, they don't like go together. You don't wake up and say, I'm gonna do distribution and then I'm gonna get in the bar business. No, that's usually not what happens. Well, a friend of mine owns a bar in the city, and he had at the time 2 or 3 bars, and he got this third one, and he asked me if I could help manage it, help run it. And I'm like, man, I don't really have time to run a bar. And so and he pressed me, he really pressed me. And so I said, you know what, I'll give you about 6 months. And the only days I can work are Monday and Thursday nights. Yeah, I mean, usually I'm out watching football game on Monday and Thursday nights anyway. And so I told him that I'll do that. I can't be in a bar 7 days a week. And so he's like, okay, cool, that'll work. And so that's how I got into it. So those 6 months turned into 4 years. And I learned a lot, and it was a great experience. And I had a lot of fun doing it. And that eventually opened my eyes into the bar business.
So what would you say are some of the successes that you've had running that type of business?
Well, the success is getting the business up and running, because we worked on it for over a year just to get it open, and now to see that the transformation that the building has taken since we started working on it to now has been absolutely amazing. To be quite honest, the place looks great, and it was, and it's just every day we walk in, you have a feeling of success just being able to get to this point and get to that point. And the other successful part is we've had a lot of people come see us and patronize us, and that's a big success within itself. And we really appreciate those people, and we want to continue to grow and to grow in that way.
And then what would you say some of the challenges have been? I know that COVID kind of stopped like entertainment, sports bars and things. So what were some of the challenges, and how did you kind of overcome it during this period?
Well, during most of the COVID lockdown, we hadn't opened yet. We just opened in September. However, it's impacting now, and with the new mandates and the way the numbers are going up, that is a challenge. It's an everyday challenge that we all need to deal with. And with vaccinations or proof of vaccinations, if not negative tests. So we're wrestling with how best to manage that process, and it's not easy, and so it's very challenging. And the other challenge is that we've got a pretty optimistic view of what we want to do with that property and on that corner, i.e., building a 35 by 50 patio on the back, and hopefully, and just going through the permitting process and getting the permit going. And it's just it's still a challenge that we work with and work through with the city and contractors and things of that nature.
Well, that didn't discourage you, because I know that soon you'll be opening up or reopening up the Weenie Wagon. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Weenie Wagon. Yeah, it's quite honestly probably the gem of the property when you think about it. Although it doesn't look like it from the outside, because it's a small little building, but that building has been there, or a version of that building has been there since 1955. And that's absolutely amazing in today's day and age where businesses are closing all the time. And that was open since 1955 and stayed open until it was just recently closed when the former owner sold the place. So that's one heck of a history, one heck of a of information to go on when you look at trying to get into business, is longevity. And then the location, it's right there on 159th Pulaski. And so that's probably one of the main attractions, and it has so much history as far as people from the south suburbs and Markham in particular. If you mention the Weenie Wagon, everybody knows where the Weenie Wagon is. If you have anything to do with Markham, everybody knows where the Weenie Wagon is. They know the type of hot dogs and hamburgers they used to sell, and so just that being there alone, like even if we're trying to tell people where the bar is, we say we're right next door to the Weenie Wagon. And everybody's, oh, we know where the Weenie Wagon is for sure. And so that's exciting. And that's exciting for all of us that are involved. And we're really looking forward to getting through all the inspections and opening the Weenie Wagon, hopefully in the next week or so.
So can you talk a little bit about how important it is to stay true to the history of the Weenie Wagon. I know that you wanted to keep the name, but then also offering a fresh perspective in today's age.
Yeah, and so that's what we did. We wanted to. One of our biggest things was to keep the name. I mean, because we think it's synonymous with Markham. We think it has built a great history and tradition, and an association with Markham. So we definitely wanted to keep the name, and we did. And but we calling it the Markham Weenie Wagon. It was Willie's, it was Johnny's, but we want this to be Markham's Weenie Wagon. We want the people, everybody in Markham, to feel welcome to come in, that it's their place, and it's been their place since 1955, and we want them to continue to feel that way. And so, although in today's day and age, we will have a separate menu that really services the bar, but we're right next door, and it'll be prepared by our chef D. Little Fire's Kitchen, and that name's also on the signage because it's the Markham Weenie Wagon, food prepared by Little Fire's Kitchen. And so we want to keep that, and that second menu that services the bar will have all the variety from everything from hamburgers to lamb chops and everything on that menu. But the Weenie Wagon, talking to people in around Markham, some of our friends over at the VFW Post who've been in Markham for 50, 60 years, they want just a basic menu, just hot dogs, hamburgers, something they can grab quick and go. And that's what we're going to give them. And also, we can, if you want something else, there'll be something else to choose from, but the main menu at the Weenie Wagon will be basic hot dogs and hamburgers and Polishes, stuff quick that you can grab and go get back on the highway.
All right. I know a lot of people mouths are watering and excited.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, Quentin.
So we'll get into a little bit of advice that you could give any entrepreneurs. You've had 3 businesses under your belt. So what would you say is the maybe 1 or 2 pieces of advice that's really helped you through this journey?
Well, I think the biggest piece, and I think my journey started back when I ended up leaving the high school coaching room, because the way that ended and the story behind it was a negative initially, but I've used that information and that incident and those times as fuel and motivation to keep striving and get better and better and better and do even bigger and better things. And I think the first big piece of advice that I can give people is, don't let the negativity and the distractions and the distortion stop you from doing something that you want to do, because most people you talk to will have something negative to say about it, and you've got to find a way to turn that into motivation, to say, great, I'm glad you think that way, I'm going to show you. And so that would be the first piece of advice, because if you go to open a business, you're going to ask questions of people, and maybe people you think might give you great advice, and they may, but it may be negative. It may be like, well, it's going to be tough and I wouldn't do it, but you have to stay the course. That would be my first piece of advice. And the second piece is that hard work pays off. There is no easy way to being successful or running or opening a business. The easy way, and this is one of my sayings as a football coach, the easy way is the hard way. The harder you work, the easier things become. And I think that if people can take that and just work hard to do what it is they set out to do, I think they can be successful in whatever way they choose to be. So that would be the 2 pieces of advice I would give.
Then 2 more questions for you. Is
Sure.
there anybody that you kind of look up to that kind of inspired you? It could be somebody directly or indirectly that inspired you to go along the business path.
Well, but yeah, first of all, my mom, she's a warrior, and she worked multiple jobs and made sure that my father passed in 1971. And so when we were kids, and she worked and raised us and did, the best job she could. And so just watching her grind every day gave me that natural ability to just grind no matter what the obstacle ahead of me might look like. So definitely her for sure. And then, I've got some successful buddies that are doing some things that are entrepreneurs themselves that have done a lot of really good things. And I look up to them and look at the way they've conducted themselves and how they've done business, and how they've grown their companies. And I'm motivated by that.
Then the final question is there anything that you want to leave our audience with, maybe about the Weenie Wagon or anything else?
Well, I would say this: the Weenie Wagon, like I said, it's been there since 1955. We're looking forward to serving the Markham and the South suburban community, Midlothian, Forest, Country Club Hills, Hazel Crest, and we're going to give you outstanding service and outstanding food. And we look forward to interacting with everybody that comes to see us, and we hope to see you soon.
Well, thank you for the interview, and then we look forward to speaking with you.
Thanks again, Quentin.